Good morning, YouTubers. Yo, hello, how art thou? And hola. Today we find ourselves in Massachusetts. There's a Massachusetts. They got some pretty cool houses up here. And see how that one's got they roll with the hills up here. But you see how this one has let's see if we get her a little closer here. I like that. You see how it's a centralized fireplace? That's cool. And then you got your garage extension. And then you got your nice little walkway, entranceway, park your car, walk over to the either door, and have easy access to the house. Looks like we got a shed out back, and they got a couple more sheds right there where they're parking over there, which that could be the other house. That might be a house, not a shed on the other side. Anywho, that particular house right there, that's just about perfect. You got two flat sides of roof, which is real easy. Now, if you were to go in there and put some structural beams, some red iron at the wall while you're building that thing, you could weld 10 gauge steel across the top of that thing and run your ground down from there. And buddy, you would never have hail damage at all. For sure. Might mess with your communications, but I don't know. The chimney, like I said, did a great place. I like the stone, which collects heat, so when the fire goes out, it's still warming up the house. We're over here getting loaded. We got I think we're getting shrink wrap to take back to Mexico so they can make product. But if you look at the far right side, you'll see that there's two windows for the garage. Let some light in. And then you basically got two, maybe, I'm going to say there's two bedrooms in the top floor of that garage. And probably an enormous place to put whatever. Living room situation, bathroom, whatever. Then, of course, the regular house. Now, you can see you can build that little simple regular house, you know what I mean, and finish it up and everything and then do your garage thing later, and if you did your house, that'd be a real easy stick frame, little 2-3 bedroom, one bathroom, everything, you know what I mean, just necessity to the left. Or you could go with the big side first and do your barn dominium, knowing that you're going to do house off to the side after the fact. Either way, by centralizing your fireplace, you're way ahead of the game. And then the stonework inside everything is critical, of course, and you want to be serviceable. So that'd be cool. Anyway, that's kind of like a house that I'd like to have. I think that's pretty neat. This one here, we got a guy coming. But this one here, we back out just a tad. You can see it's got a little bit more intricate roof. And of course, you got no slick. There's no slick. They're in there trying to figure out how to get their load. I'm glad they got that lined out. I hate to see a man struggle. And then I got over here in this door, so look at what they're going to have to do. Look at how tight this is. Look. See? And they come around that blind corner over there. That's the same way I had to get in here. Well, they're lining it out. They're doing a good job. Those are good professional guys. Those are good truck drivers right there. Don't speak a lick of English. They don't understand what you're trying to tell them at all. Paquito Inglés. Okay. And that's why it didn't pay nothing to be a truck driver anymore. Those guys right there, they'll work for 2,000 pesos. It works out to about $700 to drive from Mexico to Massachusetts and back to Mexico. That's how much a Mexican driver makes. I've talked to several of them. So, everybody's wondering, how could they drive for $2 a mile? Well, you got a trailer right there. That if you look at how much it's been beat down the side, that was probably a seizure from some type of border control, refurbished, and then put on the highway with recapped tires. there's those $700 a week guy. It should be paying, $2,000 a week. So they just saved $1,300 right there. There's a fuel efficient truck, probably getting 7+ miles to the gallon, and that's an International, so they're incredibly cheap because the wiring goes out. But these guys are used to wiring up a truck on the side of the road. So that guy right there is a good guy. He knows how to do what's got to be done. You know what I mean? So they're working on it. You know what I mean? And if that truck breaks down, they'll get out and pop the hood to have it so much back running in a couple days. Worst case scenario. And if they don't, they'll just come hook onto it with another truck and drag it back to Mexico and just rebuild the whole thing. They probably got that truck for $30,000 and had some guy making, $300 a week rebuild the subbitch. So yeah, that's why. That's why. As we look back over here. Okay, so they could that house there. If you're going to buy that house, you see how that was more than likely all built together. Now, if you could see through the fence, you'll see they got their white gate for their driveway, and then it looks like they got a root cellar out in the front yard built into the hill, and then that's actually 3-story house right there. Then, of course, they got their lawnmower shed in the back and all that. That's an extremely efficient way to use your land. Now, if those trees back behind it, okay, I'm facing to the west. Okay, so in Oklahoma, you got your tree line up here. Up here's your tree line. Okay, so if this was a hill, imagine that's all dirt. And then you put your house here, then you dig in a little bit, and then down here is more hill going down, right? So you're about midway up your hillside when you do your house like that, and that gives you the ability to get her done. Maybe I'm supposed to go in there and talk to him. Looks like those slicks going in there. Anyway, that'll stop your tornadoes. Like where Dad's house is at, everybody keeps getting blown away, but it hops right over him because he's in the nook. So anyway, that's some cool stuff. That's my idea of a good build right there. That's a good build in my opinion. To go and do right there like that would be awesome, because it's just, you can build out 2 places. Build out one and then the other. I would probably go with the short side first, steel barndominium on the other side, and then I would do the log siding, insulated log siding for the whole thing to tie it in after the fact. That would probably be what I would do with probably a composite material. It helps with the bugs down south. Oh, I feel them. They're in the trailer. Cool, I'm getting loaded. I gotta go in there. That gives us more time to talk. So this, see how they got the little dormers? So you just got little flat sides, but see how they step down? They got the big flat up there on top. You got the big flat, and then you steps down, and then you got that little eyebrow for the porch, and then all this right here, right? And then if you look at that one, see how that's just simple sides? Okay, on your big square, you got more of an overhang right there on the single story. But on the 2-story part, yeah, it looks like they've probably done something in that shop, because they got a car tarped outside. So there might be more to it inside there. Also, this here is a newer construction. You can tell due to the lack of a chimney. Might be on the back. A little bit steeper roof. I like the flatter roof. That's probably an older house back behind it. You can see the roof up over the top of it. I thought it might have been a shed, but it's probably a house because the age, well, the shingles are definitely older. Anyway, that's pretty cool. And then you got this house over here, which it's got more curb appeal. See how they just turned their 2 sides east and west. Now, I don't like that, to be honest with you. I do not like that due to the See how they went and they put them little eyebrows up there and made it look cool or whatever like that? It's just so inefficient. And to maintain that and to build that out, that's something that the women folk like. I've noticed. However, for myself, it's just ridiculous. And then you got that dormer sticking out of that roof right there, and it's real steep. So you got a low slope to the left, and then to the right, it's so steep that the dormer sticks out like that. Now, if they'd have run that roof line down to the top of that window on that dormer right over here, if they just right at the bottom of that, they'd have just brought that roof line all the way out there. These two valleys could have met and then had a straight down pipe into the ground, or a gutter off over here into the ground, and then all this area right here would be a whole other room. So they lost. They put all that money into that roof, but they lost the ability of having all that extra space and see where their car's at and everything. They could have that car could be under a roof right now for not that much more money to actually do that. So that's why I like the squares. The squares. See how that's squared off? See how that is? That's why that makes so much sense. Now, if you do that with the steel, and then where them shingles are at, I'm telling you right now, you get a crane out there and you lay that 10 gauge steel across the top of that summit and weld it. And just weld it to the frame. And weld the freaking sheets together. And you got it. I mean, it's the apocalypse house. You know what I mean? Like 400 years from now, it'll still be there. You know what I mean? I don't know if you want to powder coat it or whatever, but if there's a hailstorm or something, or you don't like the color of your roof, you literally just get up there and paint it. Like once it's welded, 10 gauge steel welded, it's there. I mean, it's there. It's going to have to like go unmaintained for 100 years before it would start to get holes in it. I mean, it is there. You are done with your construction. And if you were to do, yeah, anyway, that's the way to go. Like if you imagine, and then, you know, if you're buying into something and there's a house already there, dude, start collecting tires. Collect your tires. One of these days I'm going to do this. Collect your tires, cut the sidewalls off, make strips out of the tire tread, about like a wood shake shingle, and just roof your house with tires. It will never, it will outlive you. It will outlive your great grandchildren. It will take a fire to destroy it. And that, if you weld it up like I'm talking about, yeah, it'll still be there after a fire. You just go in there and demo everything, clean it up, and just start rebuilding back to the frame that's still there. And like, you know, if you got that little small, that 1-story side right there, now you see the 2-story side. Now, what if that 2-story side welded roof was just above that other, and then you just put some solar panels on it? You know what I mean? So you got a 10 gauge roof platform above your house, and then you put your solar on that. Well, if it catches on fire or something, it don't matter. It ain't going nowhere. And then, of course, it's grounded, like, permanently. So you could do, like, you know, probably 4 poles and then just square it off and do just a flat roof and then just weld all that 10 gauge together. You could put a slope. You could do a single slope that's accurate with your latitude and then cover that with solar panels. Dude. And then put you a rubber bladder underneath the solar panels, you know, and that could be your water heater. That could generate your electric. Then you got the freaking 10 gauge steel above your house. That's got to do something for an EMP. I don't know that it would totally shield everything, but it will definitely slow it down. Yeah, and then you got just a regular house underneath it. You know, just make sure there's enough room to, you know, do your roof. If you can stand at the peak of your house, just stand up, you know, maybe lean over a little bit, and that's the top. Well, there's your shade, you know, being down there in Texas where I'm at. If that roof on the right was over that roof on the left and there was an air gap that big, then hey, you know, my house is in the shade all summer. My air conditioner ain't never going to quit. You know, it's definitely something I've thought about down there at Unit T. I don't know. Maybe after it's paid off, I think I could get that done. Actually, probably I could probably frame it up for under 50,000. You know what I mean? And because it's the same structure or whatever else like that, I wouldn't have to pull a permit or nothing. Everybody else is building these big fancy houses. I'll just build one that's freaking, you know, apocalypse proof. All these people out here they're building with wood and shingles and stuff. I'll just build with 10 gauge steel. You know, it's not exactly going to make it through the fires of hell or anything, but you know, it'll stand up when other stuff falls down. Anyway, that's just some stuff I was thinking about. Get up here, I see a lot of people that are they seem like they're nutritionally deficient. They're not very tough. This reminds me of my Aunt Sharon. She's from Massachusetts. So I got some kinfolk up here. I remember she always looked so skinny and frail. You know? And that lady in the office in there, she reminded me of her, you know, and you know, they're shapely women. You know what I mean? They're attractive or whatever. You know what I mean? For what modern people would say. But I'm not like that. I like a sturdy woman. You know what I mean? I like a bird bone looking frailty. You know, I just I don't know. I like a hardy. You know what I mean? There got to be some substance. Yeah, that lady in that office in there, you could see that all the bones and stuff in her hand. You know what I mean? Like you look at my hand, you know what I mean? There's substance to it. You know what I mean? You ain't seeing the bones and stuff. You know what I mean? You can't see the bones. You know what I mean? You don't see bones in there. But this lady, I mean, from her knuckle back to her wrist, I mean, it'll just look like skin over like 5 pencils spread out. So there's no substance there. And I think that's because of the water ain't got no minerals in it. All right, we've been reading. Let me see if I can flip this around. What was we reading here? The scoffers mocked Jesus. That's what it says here. Okay, this is Mark 15:16. And the soldiers led him away into the hall called Praetorium, and they called together the whole band. And they clothed him with purple and braided a crown of thorns and put it on his head, and began to salute him, "Hail, King of the Jews!" And they smote him on the head with a reed, and did spit upon him, and bowing their knees, worshipped him. And when they had mocked him, they took off the purple from him, and put his own clothes on him, and led him out to crucify him. And they compelled one Simon, a Cretan, who passed by, coming out of the country, the father of Alexander and Rufus, to bear his cross. And bringing him into the place Golgotha, which is being interpreted place of the skull, and they gave him to drink wine mingled with myrrh, and he received it not. And when they had crucified him, they parted his garments, casting lots upon them, what every man should take. And it was the 3rd hour, and they crucified him. And the superscription of his accusation was written over him, the King of the Jews. And with him they crucified the 2 thieves, one on the right hand and the other on his left. And the scripture was fulfilled that saith, He was numbered with the transgressors, and they passed by, yelling at him, wagging their heads, and saying, O thou that destroyed the temple and buildest it in 3 days, save thyself and come down from the cross. Likewise also the chief priests, mocking, said among themselves with the scribes, He saved others, he cannot save. Him, he saved others, himself he cannot save. Let Christ, the King of Israel, descend now from the cross, that we may see and believe. And they that were crucified with him reviled him. And when the 6th hour come, there was darkness over the whole land until the 9th hour. And at the 9th hour, Jesus cried out with a loud voice, saying, Eloi, Eloi, lama sabachthani, which is being interpreted, my God, why hast thou forsaken me? And some of them that stood by, when they heard it, said, Behold, he calleth Elias. And one ran and filled a sponge full of vinegar and put it on a reed and gave it to him to drink. Let us see whether Elias will come to take him down. And Jesus cried with a loud voice and gave up the ghost, his life. And the veil of the temple was rent in twain from the top to the bottom. And when the centurion stood over against him, saw that he so cried out and gave up the ghost, he said, Truly this was the Son of God. There were also women looking on afar off, among whom was Mary Magdalene and Mary, the mother of James, the mother of James, the less of Joseph, and Salome, who also, when he was in Galilee, followed him and ministered unto him, and many other women came up with him unto Jerusalem. Okay, so there's a lot going on in this deal. It's a big deal right here. And you'll see that the crown of thorns. How difficult is it to be a God-fearing man in today's world? It is very difficult. It is a supreme honor that comes with a surprising amount of suffering. I kind of discount that though. You know what I mean? Because look at what Jesus did for me. You know what I mean? So if my day's not going good and I'm having all this hardship or whatever like that, and there's some kind of whatever that's so bad in my life, like I'm not on a cross. You know what I mean? Like I'm going to drive around, I'm going to do stuff, I'm going to help people, and I'll probably build a house again. You know what I mean? And help other people stay in their houses that they have, and encourage people, and make sure these get out there. You know. Not exactly crucifixion. You know what I mean? So if we're going to go with a fair value exchange, like there is none, like he did so much for us. You know what I mean? So it's like, how can I respect what he went through? You know what I mean? And we even have the witness here of the centurion that was. These dudes didn't care. These dudes were paid to torture people, and it sounded like they liked it. To be honest with you. So, and then all the Jews came against him too. They're all just talking smack and watching him be killed. And he's doing it for them. You know? So, when these hardships come against me, when I'm out here alone and can't get a hold of somebody, or the truck's broke down, or, whatever the situation is. I'm not being crucified, you know? And then on the other end of this deal, he paid for my sin. I should have been crucified, but I'm not going to hell. And that's tremendous. And then when I think about that, and then I still sin, I'll have these moments of clarity, and I'll just be like, what am I doing? You know what I mean? How disrespectful, how dishonoring his sacrifice, his life, his leadership, all that he has given me, the breath in my lungs. And then I'm going to turn around and judge, the build of a woman, whether or not I would procreate with her. You know what I mean? Talking about, oh, well, I like a thick woman versus a frail woman. How disgusting. How, you know, uh, observing two men just doing their job, and talking about their equipment and how much money they make and all. And I don't know those people. You know what I mean? So I mean, it like, there's a lot of assumption going on. You know what I mean? And I see that as sin. I don't think that it's, on people's radar. I talked with that guy 2 days ago, well, yesterday. I was driving in traffic and I see the guy and I tried to pass him. There's 3 lanes. I get over here in this lane and then he slows down. So finally I get over here and he speeds up. So finally I get around the guy or whatever. And then when I get there, he's in like a box truck. And of course I'm in a combination vehicle. So I get to where I'm going or whatever. And I go in the office and I see the guy. I recognized him. And turned out that, man, his dad died 2 days ago. His sister died earlier in the month of November. And I'm like, here's a Bible. You need to read this. And I think the feller's actually going to read it. So, but man, just to he did a little fist bump thing. And then he shook my hand because I had to go out and get the Bible. It was raining and everything. So I had to come back in and keep it dry and all that. And, yeah, it's like 30 degrees here. So, I go in there and I give this dude this Bible and I shake this guy's hand, and it's just like, this dude had a genuine care shown towards his, cause or whatever at all. So, it was an honor to be there in that moment, to do that, to be there for that guy and to deliver the word of God to this guy, and it was the same guy where I was like, cussing that he won't get out of the way. The things that we go through in this world are so trivial. It's so trivial. There, he got that guy loaded. He did all that. He'd been here and doing all that stuff. He's just getting like 2 pallets. So when you're looking around today, as you're going throughout your day today, I want you to take just a little while. Just a little while. It ain't gotta be a real long time. But I want you to take the time to get on your knees. Find some place where nobody's looking, and don't tell nobody or anything like that. Just get on your knees and ask God to show you what matters. Ask God to show you what you should be paying attention to, and ask Him to show you how to blow off all this stuff that's not the end of the world. You know what I mean? Just blow it off. Like, there's a saying, are you working hard or are you taking it hard? You know what I mean? And I was in jail, and this guy, he seen I was struggling, and he said, well, what do you do if you're watching TV and your show goes off and something comes on you don't want to watch? I said, I don't know, change the channel, I guess. He said, well, there you go. And he just walked off. And I was like, just change the channel. I mean, we're sitting here, we're waiting to get loaded, you know, and well, we're in the process of loading, I guess, and yeah, looking at some houses and stuff, and then opened up the good word, and sitting here for 30 minutes making this video. I've been here probably 30 minutes before that. Standard load time's about 2 hours. How good, how good is it to just take and read 2 pages out of the Bible? How much goodness is that? How much value is that? How much more centered is my day going to be considering what I've read, what we've read together here? Just let that pop back in your head throughout the day. You know what I mean? And you read a little bit. You know what I mean? So now, like, you have this strength, you have this the gratitude for breathing. Like, who is happy to breathe? You know, and, wow, it's a life-changing experience, and it's predominantly gratitude. I mean, it really is. I mean, you got the creator of the universe is on your side. You're learning what he likes, what he don't like, how to go about conducting yourself in an appropriate manner throughout the earth. And then, of course, if you're conducting yourself appropriately, then you won't have to do stuff like, pay tickets or go to jail or, suffer the consequences of infidelities. And, you'll have better business. You'll have better relationships with your neighbors. I mean, every part of your life gets better when you read this book a little bit every day. Every dynamic is improved. There is not a single thing in my life that does not improve. And people get it in their head. So many people think this is a list of don't do this and don't do that, and nobody wants to be told what to do. And they got this rebellious spirit or whatever because our parents are not God. If our parents were actually God and we had that perfect agape love, everybody would yearn for instruction. And people get offended that it's not that way. But the new earth, it is that way. Okay? In the new earth, everybody is that way. That's why you want to go there. You know what I mean? That's the point. Okay? So I don't care about my trash. I throw it in the burn pile and I burn it. It might be good for fertilizer. I might take some ashes or whatever. But a lot of my trash is toxic because, like, plastic or whatever. So, I just got a burn pile and whatever. I burn my trash, whatever, or I'll take it to the landfill, whatever. The trash that I produced in the year 2018, I don't care. Like, unless somebody brings it up, like right now, this moment, I'm thinking about it. So, like, I'm kind of thinking about it, but not really. And, that's what hell is. It's just, you're just burned up. You're just done away with. And then the people that go there are forgotten. The people on the new earth don't realize they ever existed. They don't know that they're done. They're gone. It's a wrap. There's a time that is different from now until Judgment Day, but God judges every human being in one day. So all the people that are Abraham and all of them, they're still waiting to be judged. They haven't been judged yet. Well, all these people, David, Goliath, Saul, Elias, all of them, they have not been judged yet. The judgment happens in one day. And if you get honest Yeah, this is a big deal. If you're watching this far, this is what you came to hear right now. You will be judged, and the way that you judge other people is the judgment you will receive. It's really true. God forgives us the way we forgive others. And the more that we get Christ like, and you see that other person, oh, I can't believe they did this sin or that sin. And then when you realize it's something that you did, you want to put on the kid gloves and be like, well, it doesn't really say that. You get all squeamish because you're a liar and a thief because you stole that candy bar or whatever. You're speeding. Is speeding really that bad? I don't know. Case in point, look at the news. You see some whatever, and if you're not guilty of it, you're like, they should be in prison. But if it's the same flavor of sin that you participate in, you'll try to justify it. Okay? It's time to get honest. It's time for you to get honest. And it's time for you to honestly assess yourself. There's a thing on YouTube, 613 Laws. You can watch that. You'll realize you can't keep it, that you need Jesus by watching that. But it'll also open up your eyes to a lot of things. And, yeah, you should definitely watch that. This whole thing about, you don't know, so your punishment is less. There's a parable. Jesus said there's two workers, and they're like watching a vineyard or something. The guy leaves. The old head and the new guy are partying. The boss comes back, catches them partying, and says the one that didn't know got beat. And the one that did know and did it anyway, he got beat severely. Well, there's this other thing that you can do called repent. So, like, I see that if I drive that way, I will go into the woods, which will tear up the vehicle. But if I turn that way, I can drive on the pavement and not have to suffer the consequences of tearing up the vehicle, losing my job, days of work missed, equipment, product, everything ruined, right? So I choose. Now, if I didn't know that there was a railroaded woods over there, just, a blizzard, you know. So if I don't know, I'm still stuck in the mud. But if I knew and I did it anyway and I just gunned it, well, I'm going to get hung up on them tracks and I might get hit by a train. So, all right, I got to go. Here's my guy, Raquel. Go get him.